Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Let's open up the next one of these Flesh and Blood Tales of Aria Blitz decks. This is Oldhim, the Elemental Guardian. I'm just going to take a look at this deck, enjoy the artwork a little bit, and talk a little bit about Flesh and Blood. So, the outer box had plastic on it also. I took that off beforehand just so I didn't waste too much time. And so every one of these decks has a foil card in it. There we go. That looks nice. And I love how Legend Story Studios does this foiling. It's not the entire surface of the card foiled. They pick certain elements of it, and it really shows the quality of their manufacturing with the print houses they use, that they get this kind of foiling, they get it registered correctly, and it looks great. It speaks volumes of the quality that Legend Story spends money on in making this game. And, something you'll notice when you see these cards up close, if you handle them, is just the paper quality. Look at that. Blemish free. Just amazing. So, every one of your heroes has a bunch of equipment items, including his weapon. Neat. He's got a one-handed hammer and then a shield. Then they'll have other various pieces of equipment on their body that get destroyed or sacrificed during combat to aid them. And then they have a whole bunch of actions. And so, there will be various distinctions of actions that belong to a class or actions that belong to light or dark. Or now we have elemental as a distinction in types of actions. So, depending on what type of hero you have, they'll be able to use certain types of actions. And just appreciate the artwork on these. I just love it. It's such a, I guess I would call it an adult style. And, Magic has kind of gotten away from blood and gore, and, it still has kind of like horror elements and maybe like satanic theming at times and monsters and demons, but, there are flesh and blood cards where the illustration is a guy having his arm smashed by a giant hammer and blood going everywhere. And so the theming is just much more adult, and, it's a nice change from kind of that safe type of artwork that Hasbro uses. So you'll see there's multiple copies of these cards. Almost every card has a couple different pitch costs. It can come in a variant with 1, 2, or 3 of these red circles. That's the pitch cost. And so one of the things that Legend Story did is they decided when you play with these smaller 40 card Blitz decks, you'll play with up to 2 copies of any pitch cost of a card. I mean, just look at that artwork. Could you imagine WotC printing that? Probably not. And so you can have, between the 3 pitches and 2 copies of each, you can have 6 versions of a card. Look at that. Doesn't that just look amazing? I love the artwork with this game. It's so cool. And, strategically, the way this game plays is, it's not better or worse than Magic. It's just different. It's a different type of game, a different type of thinking when you're playing, how you make decisions. You don't carry nearly so many cards between turns, and so you kind of think about how to best use everything you have on the current turn, because you'll draw back up to a full hand at the end of the turn. It's just a whole different experience. It's really neat, and it's neat to see a company that's a small upstart. They're really working hard. They don't take success for granted like WotC does. And they really care about the community and work hard for it. And it really shows. It's a great game. These Blitz decks are a great way to kind of get an introduction to it, to get something you can immediately pull out of the wrapper and play. They cost about $12 each is the MSRP and is the price they typically sell for. And, it gets you an entire playable deck. The only thing I kind of think it lacks is a physical rule book. It has a URLs for where to go on Legend Story Studios website to see the rules. So if you like this kind of thing, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. Thanks.